Hey, so we're live. This is Tim and Jeff. I'm with Miller Time Journey, and Tim has kind of a couple of sites and everything. This one is on Not Timmy 66. This may be going on, but anyway, we've been friends a long time. I'll start out the thing a little bit about myself. You can tell I'm in my RV right now. I
Hey,
wish.
real quick, didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I'm not getting any audio through my headset.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Um, Hit the settings down in the bottom.
Okay.
And then there should be a thing for, is it under audio? And
Yep.
there's a thing for speak.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep talking to me, buddy. Keep
Oh, okay.
introducing. I'm sorry.
Keep on talking.
Now I can hear you.
Anyway, my name's Jeff. I'm an old Hades hairband rocker. Done
My name's
everything
Tim,
from,
and I'm not.
yeah. Oops. Yeah, that's probably good. We had a lot of echo going on. We were talking on the phone. We've been trying to do this all day long. So anyway, you may see 2 or 3 of these lives, but anyway, we've been wanting to set them up. Finally, I guess the one that worked is StreamYard on there after all. So um, anyway, we've been playing with OBS and we got a lot to learn on it. So anyway, you'll see most of our things are titled that we're breaking stuff and everything. And anyway, kind of mine. We did that. Me and Tim's got a lot of history running churches, being in worship bands, and yeah, you'll notice if you look on my playlist, a lot of them have to do with everything from teaching guitar to all this other stuff, and RVing, and but we wanted to start this channel. We've been friends a long time. He has his own channels, and I'll let him talk about those. But anyway, we wanted to start a channel where we're talking about current events, and I'm moving around so you can purposely see all the gray moving around. But
That's so weird, dude.
anyway, so this is Tim Williams, real good friend of mine. Go ahead and tell him your story, and I'll kind of shut up.
Oh, sure. I see how you just throw it off on me. Well, hey,
Yeah.
guys, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's having a good weekend. We are chattering out what little hair we have left, trying to figure out this technology and actually being able to stream live on YouTube. And like Jeff said, it's been a long time coming. We've been wanting to do kind of a thing where we could talk about current events, talk about what's going on, just a wide range of topics. If you have any questions about either one of our channels, feel free to obviously leave a comment. We would love a comment right now. A little bit about me. I've been on YouTube probably right around 3 years now. I have a motorcycle only channel. It's called Me and My Shadow. But before I started the motorcycle channel, I had Not Timmy 66, which is kind of an eclectic channel. I get into everything from the end of the world, what's going on with the government, religion, addiction, jobs, everything. So it's a really wide open topic range, and I don't have much more experience than Jeff with any of this stuff. I just finally talked him into doing something like this to see how it will go. And Jeff just disappeared, and oh, there's his dog. I think that's Molly, isn't it?
She was talking. I thought she wanted to interject something.
Oh, sure.
So
My dogs are all sleeping. They just ate.
yeah, I know. Wish you could train. Hey, look, there's my wife. We got our first listener. Your
Yay!
head, your head is gray and Tim's background is blurry. Does that
No,
mean you're
no.
old?
My
Just
background is
question
not. My background is not blurry. Your vision is. Sorry, Lola. Like
Yeah.
Jeff said, we've been friends for gosh, how long have we been friends?
I
We
don't
met
know. I lost
church.
count. It's been a long time.
It's like, let's see. Well, I got married and I don't even remember. That's terrible. 2007. So it was like 2000. We've known each other since about 2006.
Yeah,
Long
a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
We've all grown old together.
Mm-hmm.
Him, me, and my wife is our, I know, one listener I see on there. So
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
not
you
going to
so
talk
much.
about her age, but
Well, I appreciate you at least stomaching this. At least we have one person watching, right?
yeah, that's right.
So
So anyway, any topics are up for discussion on there. We are going to talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about.
exactly. That's what we do. I'm going to be
Uh,
nice to Loretta. I'm going to change my background so she can see my room here behind me. It's just beautiful
yeah,
here.
and I guess
There
I
we
could
go.
do.
Well, that blurriness around the image really kind of drives me nuts.
Yeah,
But it's up to you, man. I mean, if you want to do that, you feel free.
yeah, it does.
Feel free to. So, do you have any topics, Jeffrey, that you want?
He's all professional in a office there.
What? You can see I got my motorcycle helmets all behind. I don't need to push.
I forgot how to get into the band. Oh, there's was it brand or backgrounds that did the,
You
I
go to
don't remember.
settings. Go to settings.
Yeah, I think this one's over to the right. There's a thing
Oh,
that says brand or banners or background. Maybe it is settings. I think you're right. I think
it
that's
is.
for the upground camera. Is it virtual background?
Yep.
Oh wow, I can have me a brick wall.
That's what I had.
Hey, all right.
Hey, froze up there.
Blur. There's the blur.
Are you really in the?
Yeah. And
So
there's me.
Jeff
There's
and
my
Loretta,
real background.
bought an RV not too long ago, and I'm sure you guys have seen some videos on it. So, Jeff, tell me a little bit about ownership of that RV. Tell me what I mean, after how long have you had it now? About a year?
Yeah, we've had it about a year. In fact, guy, it was probably a little earlier than this year, and you can chime in on there, or if you did. It's a little over a year. In fact, I think one of our first main trips were Davis Mountains. We did around September or something of last year. I think we got it around July or something. So it's probably, yeah, about this time last year.
So,
But
tell me about how you feel about owning, because everybody knows, like, I'm into motorcycles, and that's an expensive hobby. But I don't know if
yeah,
it's quite as expensive a hobby as RVing. RVing is probably a step above, depending on what you get in the motorcycle world. But
it,
in RV land, that's a big investment. So my question is, do you feel that you're getting your money's worth out of it now, after all the learning curve and everything? Or
it depends. I like, we've always liked camping and stuff like that, but I mean, especially as you get older, going out there in a tent when it's 100 and something degrees. We live in Texas, so going out, if you're going on a weekend trip or going out for a week, and during the winter it gets too cold a lot of the time, so you got these couple of months sweet spots if you're um, tent camping. The good thing about an RV, if you like to camp, you can do it. If it's too cold, you got an RV, you can go in and warm up if
get away
you're,
from the
doing
bugs?
that. So you can get them pretty reasonable. I mean, I think, the truck was probably the biggest expense on it, because, we ended up getting a 33-foot Forest River, and that thing is, yeah, I had a Toyota Tacoma at the time that, that payment was a lot lower having to go out, and, we looked at F-150s, but
Right.
this thing needed to be able to tow about 10,000 pounds. And when you're looking at that limit, you're kind of just, you can get it with a 150, but you got to really have that full trailer package and towing package. And then you're looking at the stress it puts on the motor. So we had to step up to a 2500 in the Chevy pickups.
Oh,
So,
interjected here. Loretta's waiting for this stream to be worth her while. Loretta, you're going to be waiting for a long time.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. So just hang out there and wait.
Yeah,
It'll be a while.
It might get interesting. Who knows?
So it does. It depends on what you like. Like, you're definitely going to get a lot more use, like with the motorcycles, where you can get out a little more often and ride them around. Whereas, the RVs, and there's a lot of people go full-time RV. And one thing we've learned from it is, if we were going to be going full-time on it, we'd probably have to get a little bit bigger RV because, this one we have is fine going out a week or so or
That thing
something like
sleeps
that.
like
But
9 people, dude.
it does. It has, and that's if it does have 2 bunks there, has a bed in the back, and you can fold down all the tables. But it's still even, not cheap for my standards because I definitely am not rich. But, when you're looking at 40 grand on an RV, that's still cheap for RVs. And the hope, like my wife just said in the chat there, that my hope was to go visit family without the
Sure,
hotel cost,
sure.
but the gas and time difference, not as good for long trips, probably statewide. And you'll notice most of my trips at this point, we've been trying to visit all the different. One thing I found, we were going to RV parks, and I got this Passport America thing that kind of, there's some sites that'll give you 50% off at them, and but and I don't know if she agrees, but I'm pretty sure she agrees too. The thing we found we really like the most are the state parks.
Mm.
State parks are just beautiful. A lot of these RV parks you go to, and I've noticed it, and there's probably a couple of pretty ones out there, but we've went to 4 or 5 of those, and it's just like you're on a parking lot, just sitting out there baking in the sun and everything. Most of these state parks are just huge trees, beautiful scenery. And you can
So
go
what is
watch
the
them on my playlist, but
but like compared to what though? Like so state parks as opposed to what you mean, like boondocking
like
camping
like
or
RV parks, let's say
oh
a lot of
okay.
time if you go to something just called an RV park, you're paying they charge 60, 70, 80 bucks a night staying
Right.
at it. Now, if you get that Passport America thing, you can look around and pick your parks, and you can find some that, do offer 50% off. And then sometimes they do that only for, 2 or 3 nights. So we had some parks we were staying at for 3 or 4 nights, and they would only honor the 50% off thing it did for the first 2 nights of the trip. So then the other times paying for, you're paying full price at the 60, 65 bucks a night.
So for those that don't know, the Passport America is like a membership, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
it
it is?
is. And if you
Okay.
look down in the description on the Miller Time Journey, I have that Passport America thing, and you can get a discount for it if you like to travel a lot. It could pay off, but the Texas State Park Pass, you pay 70 bucks a year. If you go
Okay.
camping twice, it pays for itself, man. If you just go visit a state park, there's usually anywhere from, what is it, anywhere from it used to be 5, 10, I think last time she said it was like 15 bucks for a day pass to go through them.
Jeez.
But if you have that state park pass, you can go to any park, any state park in the state of Texas, and you don't have to pay those daily fees. So if you're camping without a state park pass, then you have to pay for the spot, which is still a good deal there. But, with the state park pass, it's like anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks a night. You don't have to pay the fees or anything else. So,
So you pretty much
it's,
it's all inclusive, and you
oh
know,
man, just price wise, and all of them we've seen so far where you're parking, there's huge trees, it's all shaded, it's just gorgeous spots. I mean,
that was my next question. I mean, do you get, if you have that pass, does that guarantee you a spot, or I mean, how do you go about selecting? Let's say you want to go to XYZ park in Texas. How do
yes,
you choose what spot you're going to be in? Can you drive around and just pick one, or
well, if you get there and they've got the availability, it's always smarter on any of them, Passport America or that one or whatever. Like normally when we're planning a trip, and I always like to plan it in advance just to make sure we can get a spot, but I'll plan it a month and a half ahead of time. But you can plan it up to the day before, or you can just go to the park. Now, if it's anywhere around a holiday or something or some big event, a lot of people are coming in, you just take that
4th of
chance.
July or whatever?
Yeah, they might be
Yeah.
full or something. And even then, sometimes you can find one or two. It may not be the best
How do you
location.
how do you select it in advance? How do you see the spot? Do you just look at a
You go
map?
to, well, first thing you do, like let's say our next trip in October, I think we're going to go to Possum Kingdom, Lake State Park. We've never been to it, heard it's beautiful.
I've driven up there. It's beautiful.
So first thing I'll usually do is just go to Possum Kingdom, Lake State Park,
The
Texas State
website.
Park. And
Yeah.
you'll come up to the website and you can look at a map. You can look at all the spots. You can look at things in there, find the spot you want. Like I always like being by the water and
Right.
where you can get close to the water. So like this one, we found a spot right there on the lake. And it's once you find a place, hey, I like this, I'm going to look for this one. Then when you go in to select it, usually you can do that from the website, but it tells you to go to it's called Reserve America or something. You go to Reserve America and then you can go into spots. You've already looked at the maps, but Reserve America, you'll go in there and choose which park you want to go to. And in there, you can look at each site, what they offer.
Okay.
Like for ours, we like the 50 amp, hookups and stuff, but
I like 50 amp.
I just like them. One, the plugs stay in the receivers a little bit
Yeah.
better. The 50 amp
I
plug.
saw your get up on the one video with the bungee cord.
Oh yeah,
Hold the
no,
plug
I
in.
know that's the bad thing. It's just a 3-prong straight prong plug that goes in.
Mhm.
Nearly every one of those, the plug, when you do it, because of the weight on that thing, it just wants to fall out of it.
Right.
So, you have to take a bungee cord or something. Or I'm sure you could buy another adapter. Now, it's not like if you get a generator or something that has a 30-prong outlet, there's a special adapter you have to buy that has a twist lock thing where it stays in.
Right.
But most 30 amps don't have that. So most, the 30 amps are just these straight prongs that end up falling out. Whereas a 40 amp has 4 of them, and every one of them, it just works great. You just plug that sucker in, it stays in real good. You don't have to do the bungee cord. The other one is power. Like, when you're dealing with 30 amp, you've got to kind of watch how much amperage you're pulling.
Sure.
This is Texas, so we're always running the AC. Pulls a lot of stuff in it. So just so you both know, the responses you get will be about 30 seconds past what your discussion is. Oh, okay. Thanks.
So there's a little bit of a delay. So
all right.
I guess
and she'll keep chiming in. She's trying to give us the feedback from a viewer's perspective, because we have no idea the whole premise of my channel. Like when I got in this, I knew nothing about RV. So I went and got an RV, knew nothing about the bigger trucks, went and got one of those, knew nothing about YouTube. So started doing it. Luckily, Tim had been doing YouTube for a while. I think you just got monetized here recently and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got 2 channels. One has a little bit over 2,000 subscribers, the Not Timmy. And then and that really only happened because I did one video that I just kind of threw together, and I filmed it on my phone. There wasn't a whole lot of production or anything, and it blew up, as they say. And I just nailed a whole bunch of subscribers, boom, 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 and it went from like 800 and some subscribers, which had been sitting at for like 2 years, to well over 2,000. And then my other channel, the Me and My Shadow channel, it's more definitely a niche channel. It's more about motorcycles, riding, safety, all that stuff. And it has just a gradual climb, and I'm about almost 2,000 on that one. So I got monetized.
My wife added, "You knew nothing about women, then married me."
Thank God my wife isn't.
I guess that's a story of my life. Yeah.
Thank God my wife isn't here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, YouTube is something that I just decided I wanted to share the journey. But let me ask you this, getting back to the RV thing, because I think a lot of your audience probably watches. And Loretta, feel free to chime in. What's the best? Now you got to take your time and think about what's the best thing about RV. Like when you're out there, and what's the worst? No, like one or two, but the very best, like out of a top 10, the very top for best and the worst.
The worst thing to me about RVing, I love taking the RV out and going in. The worst thing is your signal and your satellite, and you're getting your internet, because we stay connected. And like, I know T-Mobile used to be real good on their plans where it was unlimited hotspot and everything else. So you get out on a lot of these and you buy RVs, and the salesmen tend to lead you, oh yeah, this thing's all geared up for hotspot and connecting your TV, and
Sure.
they kind of say on that, well, yeah, they've got the connections, but you want to go get that stuff, that's another $700 here. Expenses in an RV can add up, in a lot of places when you're going out to the lake or you're going out to Davis Mountain. You're either going to need, like, Davis Mountain had no signal out there, right? So, and it even didn't have a lot of mobile signal. So then you either need to have a Starlink, which Starlink, if you price that lately, you got to go pay $500-600 for the equipment, and it's like
Wow.
150 to $200 a month for the service. Now, the good thing about Starlink is you can pause it and continue it. So once you buy that equipment, let's say you're going to go camping for a couple of weeks or a month, you can start your service, pay it for that month. At the end of that month, you can stop the service. So you don't have to pay that monthly thing all the time. Just when you want it, you have to start it. Now, a lot of the other state parks we've been doing around here, some of them had, all of them promote, oh, we got Wi-Fi, and then you go out there and they got Wi-Fi up at their headquarters, but not out where the camping is.
Right.
Now, we have noticed the last couple, like when we went to Lake Mineral Wells and we went to some of these other ones, and I'm pretty sure Possum Kingdom, that you get a pretty good mobile signal. Mm-hmm. Which means you can use your hotspot, but like our hotspot, we get 5 gigs of hotspot. You go through when you're streaming a couple of videos and trying to watch TV, because there's a lot of times it's too hot and you're chilling in the RV or doing stuff or cooking or eating in there and stuff, that you want to watch some shows or check out what's happening on the news or something. You can't. It's hard to stay hooked up. So I know we're at a point now when we went with Spectrum where, we had to pay off the phones that we got and everything else, but we're we're getting pretty close to having that paid off. So I've been kind of looking at the possibility of looking around. There are a couple of providers that offer a little bit better mobile packages.
But I just said the very best, regardless of where you are, there is a bed to sleep in. The worst, stress of pulling the rig, uncertainty of where to park for the night. And I'm not as concerned about that other stuff as he is. Yeah, I was kind of say, I mean, that's kind of more of a personal thing as far as like, because most people go out to RV to get away from all the electronics and stuff. Apparently you don't.
Yeah. Well, I do. I like to video a lot of it when I'm there, and sometimes I'm just kind of more editing them and kind of putting the videos and stuff together. But yeah, so that's not as big of a thing, getting away from it. She's right. It's the stress of pulling it is definitely a big deal on it.
I honestly thought one of you was going to say cleaning out the sewer tank.
That's really not that's really not that bad, really. I mean, all you got is a twist lock kind of hose you're hooking to the dump site, and you're just pulling those things out. So it's a little bit, but to me, it's a pretty quick job on it. That's not near as bad as, it's a little bit of a hassle, but not too bad.
I guess I've seen too many movies where those have failed on people.
Well, you probably watched some of my videos where I show it blowing up from the funny Robin Williams movies and crap getting all over them and stuff like that. But no, most of the time that stuff works pretty smooth. But things when you get on an RV, it's frustration, and she's right. It's kind of fun messing with all that stuff and doing all the draining and stuff.
So it's real stressful hauling the trailer. I mean the camper behind you.
It does, and I know you've been a truck driver,
Especially
so you know.
especially if you leave the door open.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. But you know, I don't hold that against her. For see what kind of comment I'm going to get from that one. Hopefully she didn't catch that comment.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah, so she kept telling me, and she'll probably chime in here. I'm probably in trouble for saying this, but she kept trying to tell me that, you know, you got to lock the deadbolt and then try to open or lock the door. No, lock the deadbolt.
Yeah, I know it was you. You don't even remember how to do it.
Well, anyway, I checked it one time and everything was locked the deadbolt, shut the doors, turned everything on there. But, you know, there's a little thing in the RV where you want to get in there, lock the deadbolt first while you can still pull on the door handle.
Right.
No, yeah, lock the door handle first. Make sure it doesn't come open, you know, because sometimes that thing doesn't latch good when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that deadbolt on it latched good, she said yours.
I saw that.
Yeah. So we were driving down the road one day at, you know, 55, 60 miles an hour on the freeway. And all of a sudden we looked back and noticed that door was open, you know, it's like, oh no.
You learned real quick how to pull over, didn't
you? So anyway,
I can imagine that. I would love to have been a fly on the wall during that. I'm sure there's
got it a little bit for that one. You know, there's a lot of things you learn on it. You know, it's kind of different learning how to back up a trailer, but you know, I know you've driven a truck, you know that. Another thing some people do, because sometimes, you know, when you're pulling a trailer by that one tongue on the back of it, you know, you get wind resistance. You know, you got a big sheet panel thing you're pulling, that wind just blows it everywhere.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that got I forgot what they call it, the bars, stabilization bars you can put on them to stabilize the trailer.
Right.
But we opted not to do that. They're about $700, I think, to get one of those, but everything's expensive, man, when you're getting it for an RV, it seems like. But we opted not to do that because, and you can watch a bunch of videos on this where people are driving and their frames end up cracking in half on their RV, and it, you know, it's just a mess. You got to get a special tower, you know, get that thing towed back somewhere, and then you got to send that thing.
Well, and it looks like we lost Jeff somehow, so that was interesting. I guess we'll hold off here a little bit just to see if Jeff can come back on. I'm not sure what happened to him here. So that was a lot of fun, guys, wasn't it? I think honestly, RVing would be something that I would love to try, but there's a huge learning curve on everything that you need to know and learn to be able to do it. So
I don't know why that thing kicked me out of it. It just shut down on me.
I kept it rolling for us.
All right, good deal.
I tried to be professional. I was saying that I would love to do RVing, but it seems like there's a really large learning curve on everything that you got to do and know. It's not just like grabbing a tent and throwing it on the back of my motorcycle and going out somewhere and camping somewhere. You got there's a big process between making sure you're bringing all the food you want and making sure that you got everything locked down before you move. I mean, you go through a lot of that stuff on your videos.
Yeah.
I think really, really helpful, especially for folks that have never done it before. I learn a lot anyway. So have you had any creepy experiences out there in the park? Anything weird?
Have we had any creepy experiences out there, honey? Here, I'll bring the camera in there to you. No. Any creepy experiences?
Yeah, like any weird neighbors? Or...
Not yet. I know I've seen some people have on the YouTube videos. We've been pretty good so far. I think we've really liked the people everywhere we've went. You know, we've loved it. A lot of our things have been like weekend trips and stuff, and going for a couple of days and we've had a great time, just going, man, it's not long enough, we want to do it. So
that leads into what's the best thing about RVing for you personally?
to me, I just like getting it away. When I first got it, the thing I wanted to do sometimes just retire and go see, all the different states and go see stuff and,
Yeah.
Go around and see family. She has family that lives in Colorado, California. And, I've got my dad and them live up and sisters live up in Seattle and they're up in Washington. And so we like that's why we got it, wanting to do more, kind of traveling around on there. But
Adventure, Loretta
it
says.
just gets, well, yeah, it's just, once you get them though, the thing you're not thinking about is you still got to pay that and keep it. So yeah, I could sell my house, but I've still, and there's some work camping type jobs you can do, but
I've seen a lot of videos of people that have actually done that. They've actually sold their home and moved into an RV and they travel full time, but a lot of them only last a certain amount of time.
yeah.
I think, don't you guys think maybe you need a little bit of a home base to come back to it?
And that's kind of, yeah, and that's Loretta's deal when she's talking about it, is she's just going, she wants to keep the home base and keep everything here so we have a place to come back to, and that's probably smarter. I haven't fought her a whole lot. I went, yeah, it's,
You just want to be a nomad.
yeah, I just want to be a nomad, but it is good to have a place to come back, and the dogs can kind of get out and run around more, not on a leash, and
Right.
doing stuff like that. So anyway,
Oh, really? Loretta said that one of the people that you guys talked to said they could get into any locks on an RV. That's kind of creepy.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, you can. They're pretty basic locks on those things. So
yeah, that's what I do when I first meet somebody. Is I say, you know what? That's a really nice house you got there. I can break into any house.
Yeah. So if you ever need it, let me know.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
I think it's really endearing and it makes people trust you a lot more if you're open and honest like that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, well, thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, thanks a lot. But so you guys don't really worry about that too much, or you haven't run into anything really weird.
Yeah, I haven't really ran into too much other than, you're definitely going to see creepy people every once in a while, but yeah. I still like doing it. It's never long enough. I just, I like having it because you can get out there and, just kind of get away and go out and see stuff. So
Cool.
That's kind of my draw to it. I like being able to get out there and see the nature and see all the stuff that's going on out there.
I know, just based upon like all of your channel and other channels out there, it's hugely popular. At least people love to watch it. I mean, people love to watch people getting away and the different places you can go to and the different, like Loretta just said, the adventure that you can get into, because it really is an adventure. I mean, you don't really know what's planned. And I guess my thought is, if you think about the money that you obviously have to lay out for doing an RV and stuff like that, how many standard vacations could you take, and is the trade-off worth it? In other words, the money spent on everything as opposed to just going and staying in a hotel, driving your car out there, or taking an airplane ride, whatever. What's the trade-off there? Is it just because you're more in nature and more?
Yeah, that and more in control, and then something that's yours that you're taking out there to it. I mean, it's getting any more going and getting hotel rooms or getting up close to 200 a night or something like that you're going. And gas and all that. Yeah, you're spending a little bit more in gas, but
well, it's food you're saving though, right? Because you're cooking your own.
Yeah,
food.
You can cook it, and usually if you're going out, yeah, you're going to be spending 50, 60 bucks. You can spend
Easily.
160, 200, what you would normally spend at the store, and stock yourself up for the week and go out there and have the food. So that's kind of a good thing, and spending that amount of bills when you're going to hotels, you not only have that, but if you're thirsty and wanting a Coke during the day or you're wanting waters, you're paying extra for all that stuff.
Yeah,
So
Loretta just said that if you're smart about it, you can save a lot of money.
yeah, you
With the
can.
extra
The
expenses.
thing that sucks about it, if you're doing it as like us, like I call it weekend warrior, just 2 or
Mhm.
3 days here and there, and like when
Mhm.
we can get a week to go somewhere and stuff, it is kind of pricey because you've got the payment on that thing is 400 and something for the payment on the RV plus insurance is freaking just crazy on them. So
I
you
didn't
got the
think about
insurance
that.
on that thing, yeah. And when it's setting out here, well, some people will insure it when they're going on the trip and not insure it while it's sitting in their driveway. But if you're making payments on it, we're in Texas, man. You could get a tornado, you could get hail, you could get anything coming through there messing with it.
Yeah,
So
it's an
so
investment. It's an
oh
investment.
yeah, so you've got not only that to upgrade the truck. I had I don't know, $600, $600 payment on my truck on a lease last time. So getting this one is like a $1,200 payment. I mean, big trucks are expensive, man. Those like
Yeah,
150s and 2500s,
yeah.
they're ridiculous. 70, 80,000. It's like, my God, that's what I spent on my first house.
Oh, Jeff, Loretta just said that until the wife starts talking about cruises.
Yeah, and
Ah,
that's one thing we've looked at there that we do want to do those. Neither one of us have been on a cruise, and
I
we
am
both
either.
really want to go do that. But
Yeah.
you can get good deals. I've got friends at work that they don't do the RVing and the camping as much, but they try to go on a cruise. With when they have PTO like every 6 months, once or twice a year.
Right.
I know for several years, I know my parents had done that. They lived in California, so they'd take Alaskan cruises and cruises to different places. But
Yeah.
sometimes you can get those for $600, $700, $800 per person.
So another quick question that comes to mind too is like for those of people that might be looking at RVs, what's the big advantage of having a tow behind RV as opposed to the totally, I forget what you call them, where you actually drive the RV itself, the big coach where you're actually
Loretta's originally, I wanted to get one of those, but luckily Loretta has a little more logic than I do when she's doing it. She talks me off the ledge, when I'm
Mhm.
looking at making that. You figure you're going to spend about the same. So, you get one of those, you're going to be spending 110, 120,000. But if you look at, and I got a good deal on my truck, by the time you get, your 45,000.
Mhm.
And believe me, that's a kind of low figure. You can get some of the real small RVs a little bit cheaper, but some of the nicer RVs just go up from there. So mine is by no means one of the more expensive RVs, and it was 40, 45 grand. And then the truck, I got a good deal on it, but it was 60. We got a good deal on it, and it was 60 grand. You get a driving RV, well, they're about 100 and something grand. You're going to be spending 100, 110. The bad thing is, let's say you have something go wrong with your motor and they have to tow it in. Now you're having to get a motel. Like if we were broke down somewhere and our truck had to be put in the shop, we've got
Right.
a home. We got a place we could stay in doing it the way we're doing it.
Well, plus, isn't it true too that you can just kind of, if you want to go into town and maybe go check out
Right.
whatever, that you have your vehicle that you can detach from it. Otherwise, you'd have to like tow your vehicle behind, wouldn't you?
And that's what a lot of people will do in those driving ones. They'll tow a little Jeep or small car behind them, and when they
See,
park
maybe in a
somewhere.
motorcycle guy, I'm always thinking, well, if I do that, I'd have to have a toy hauler.
Yeah.
Because then I could load my wife and Patty and my dream is to end up getting a Can-Am Spider because none of us are getting any younger, and eventually it's going to get to a point where the weight of the motorcycle and my reaction times and stuff just aren't going to be as good. And a Can-Am Spider is a 3-wheeled vehicle, and you could fit those in those toy haulers. And we were talking, and
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, we could just take that.
And you can get some nice toy haulers, just
Yeah.
kind of around the same price range that we got ours for. You can get some pretty nice toy haulers.
Yeah. Put the
Yeah,
bike
and
on the rear rack. Yeah.
a lot of those you can put the bike even on the rear rack and all of that stuff.
I don't
So
know, man. They hang. You spend so much money on the weight of those. Just like my bike right now is almost 600 pounds, and it would worry me if the rack would actually hold. I'm sure
right.
they probably have it figured out, but I'm like super paranoid. I'm like, oh, about.
Yeah, and our rack, I forgot what our rack will take, about 400, something like that pounds, which, you might can get away with a generator. I also get a little worried about putting too much weight back there because I've seen some of the videos where the things start swerving and go out of control. And
Right.
a lot of the time it's because of too much weight on the butt end of them, the very
Right.
back end of them, causing them to sway
Do
around.
that shimmy.
Yeah, so
Have you had any close calls in hauling the RV as far as like having to do any kind of panic stops or anything like that where you're like, oh no?
I've cut some corners when it was muddy a little bit. Sure. Well, not as many close calls, and Loretta can correct me if I'm wrong on this. Not as many in the close call range as I have just being stupid Jeff.
Yeah.
And like when it's real raining, thinking because I have a 4-wheel drive, I can pull wherever I want to and back that trailer up. But with all that weight, like even when I had picked it up, it had been raining a lot. When I was having some work done, I was bringing it home, pulled it in backed it into our yard. All right. And I was pulling up to one section of our yard that always gets a little marshy.
Mm-hmm.
And started to go backwards, and my tires got stuck, and I kept trying to get myself out, and I sunk the tires all the way down to the axles on the tire.
And if you guys haven't seen that video, I believe he put out 2 videos on it.
Yeah, it's called something like the WTF issues playlist on there. But yeah, I videoed it just because it was so stupid.
Yeah.
And then I watched redneck videos where, they take a piece of wood and strap it to the tire going out and with your ties. So I tried that, and
that worked real well.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it dug such a big hole in the yard, and I was so stuck and I finally was able, I had to call my neighbor, which is a little wiser than I am. And he kind of came over with some boards and everything and helped me get them under and jacking up one part of it and getting out. But I had to take off work for a day or two because I had to let the wind dry out the mud for a day or two and then have him come help. But yeah,
man, the only plus side to that whole thing was at least it was in your front yard or your side yard. It got
right.
Stuck.
Yeah, had that been out somewhere, that would have been just a mess. So
there's tons to think about with that stuff, man. Tons to think about.
Yeah, you tend to think you can get out of anything because you have 4-wheel drive, and 4-wheel drive don't mean crap, if you don't.
Right.
It just, and my truck's jacked up, it's not a low setting truck, but it's definitely something else.
That's cool. So no regrets as far as it goes, and you guys are enjoying it. And I guess that's the important thing. I mean, you're going to spend some money on regardless, whatever it is, like
motorcycles. What we're kind of hoping, and when we got it now, my hope is just having that thing kind of paid off by the time we do retire, and if we decided to go around, or at least if some of the overhead is lower enough where we could even do work camping and go around to some of the things. There's a lot of jobs you can do on the road while you're out. If you're going up north, there's the beet harvest up there. If it's more the cooler time of the year, I don't know when that is, like October, November. If you're a lot of people will come down here during the winter when it's colder up north.
Right.
They'll come down summer, and all these oil fields and ranches, they like to hire RVers as guard gate entry people. So I mean, you can make you can make a bunch of money in a short amount of time. Watching that for a couple of months, and then when the weather gets a little bit warmer, then they'll go up and do all their traveling up north hit stuff up there. You know, the KOA campgrounds have a whole work thing
What
you
is
can go in.
what does KOA stand for?
I don't remember. It's just they're real nice campgrounds, and you can they've got a whole network set up for RVers in there. So if you ever wanted to travel and stay, a lot of the time, and it's a little different with them, but you know, you get your spot paid for, and you know, make a little bit of money. You know, most of the jobs probably going to be, you know, $10 an hour, 12, $15 an hour. They're not going to get you rich by any means working at them, but you know, there's some of them that'll pay the fee. Some of them, some of the big parks like Yellowstone,
Mm-hmm.
as things where RVers will come up there and pay. And I think they, you know, they have a program where some of the big ones like that want you to stay for the season and work for a couple of months. But some of the campgrounds, you can go in there if you're going to work for a couple of weeks, a month, 2 or 3 months, whatever. Same thing with Gate Garden. You know, when you're wanting to go off, just let them know so they can get another crew in there and you can take
Do
off
they
when you want to.
do they like cover your expenses as far as like where you're?
Oh yeah, they set you up like the Gate Garden. Of course, you're usually out kind of in the middle of nowhere out there, but oh yeah, they bring you in. You got full generators hooking stuff up. They have a cart with potable water with
Wow.
they usually got it has a sewer dump that has like a I don't know how many gallons, but say like a 500-gallon tank on it that, you know, your sewer tank goes to and pumps in, and they come out once or twice a week and, you know, empty that out and make sure you got fresh water and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So those are pretty neat, and they're easy jobs. You know, all you're doing is everybody coming in, you know, the big trucks, you're just kind of waving them on. If it's a smaller vehicle, then you're just kind of going out there with a tablet and, you know, taking a picture of their tag,
Yeah.
I mean, who they are, typing it in a tablet and waving them on.
So you
Usually,
can earn as you go, basically, is what you're
oh
saying.
yeah, and those jobs pay actually pretty good, and they like husband and wife teams because you know you can do it as a single person doing it. They just have to have two teams, but a husband and wife can kind of split that shift, and they don't care if it's 12 and 12. They're just paying you, you know, they're just paying you as a team the money, and you just they just want to know somebody's covering the gate 24/7, you know. So if one of you have to go in town, go shopping, I mean, they don't care who's there working,
Right.
whatever.
As
They
long
just,
as it's covered.
as long as somebody's there and it's covering it. So, you know, you can have one working during the day, one working at night. Um,
That'd be a great way to travel a lot to supplement your income, like your retirement income.
and there's a lot of people do it in the retirement age because that's still a job, you know, when you're out of, you know, not really able to keep up with all the breaking work out in the environment and all that stuff, you know, that's still kind of a job that's doable, and you know,
Mhm.
you can kind of get done.
How'd you decide that RVing was something you wanted to look into? Were you watching YouTube, or did you have other friends that were RVing? Did you have family that did? I mean, what made you? What was the thing that you were like, "That's a good idea"?
Well, we've always liked camping, and I
Right.
think about a year or two before we bought it, we, you know, we kind of did one of our last camping trips, and it was during the summer, and it was so damn hot we had to come back, you know. And I was just thinking, well, shoot, it kind of limits, you know. There's in Texas, especially, there's,
Yeah.
you know, there's so much of the year is just hotter than heck,
Yep.
where it's uncomfortable out there. The other part of it's too cold
Right.
be out there camping, so it just kind of limits when you're able to do it. And if anything else is going on, then you end up not ever getting to get out there and camp and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
originally we were thinking this would be neat for going to see family and everything else
Right.
too, but
Right.
we haven't got to do a whole lot of that yet because most of the time when we do it, one of us is working and one of us isn't. So, you know, it's been like
Yeah.
a single trip. So
Wow.
anyway, yeah, so but we are still hoping to do that and be able to take it, you know, take it to those to
Well, I mean, you know what? You've got the worst part of it's over. You decided on the camper. You're starting to get the experience in the camping. You're starting to know the
Yeah.
ins and outs of it, to speak. So to speak, I should say. So as time goes on, and you do decide to retire and go do that, you've got pretty much everything you need. I really like when you told me about it. I really liked the fact that, because I was thinking, man, they're really smart about this, because they bought they they bought the truck that they're going to need to get it done. They bought the camper that they're going to need to be comfortable, and it's going to accomplish everything pretty much that they want to do. Obviously, you wish you had this or that or whatever, but you kind of did the main expense for your dream in advance of what the future could hold, if you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping is by the time we hit that and I retire, hopefully we have that paid off, or at least real close to being paid off. So when we do it, we own the truck, we own the camper, even though I'm sure it'll have a bunch of miles on it by the time we hit that point. But by that time, those are all paid off and they're ours. If we want to just go off traveling, we can. We're stuck down to just kind of what we have owing on the house or whatever. And
what do you think the best advice for someone that might be looking into it would be, as far as like, should you do your research first before or should you just jump out there and start going to, because they got RV shows all the time.
Yeah, and that's what we did. We went to RV shows. We went to a lot of the RV lots, looked at it. By the time we came around, we knew the exact RV we wanted. We knew, and the things I liked about it, has an outdoor grill on it. It has all the, and there's not a lot of them that have that, but it had different features we want. Now, as we've done it, and these are things you need to, I guess, think about ahead of time, are what are your goals? Are you wanting this to be kind of like a weekend warrior, just going out on weekends and doing that? One like we got is fine, like this Forest River we got.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to do a little more long-term stuff and stay in it, we've talked about that. If we were going to go in it and go full time, we might have to cash it in and upgrade it a little bit to one of the bigger ones, or even one you put a third wheel and pull it with the third wheel behind it or something, because some of those are a little bit roomier, a little bit more cabinet space. They've got kind of totally separate, bigger bedrooms and a little more comfortable stuff in them. So
layouts a little more comfortable for you for the long term then.
Yeah, but so far for what we've been doing, I mean, this one's fine. Like, for going a week or two, or, doing whatever you're wanting, this one's worked out good.
That's what I thought.
Like Loretta says,
I was like, what's a third wheel? I mean, I've been a third wheel before.
Did I say third wheel?
Yeah.
I meant fifth wheel.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, you're going to take me with you?
Yeah.
I'll be the third wheel.
So yeah, you definitely, if you're going to do it full time, I think you don't even mess with the pull behind, the regular trailer hitch ones. You
do a fifth wheel.
You almost need to go a fifth wheel. If there's good and bad about a fifth wheel's, that thing's setting a lot closer to the cab, so you really got to pay attention. I've seen a lot of people dent in the top of their truck from turning too sharp and different stuff. You don't have to worry about all that. You can make pretty sharp turns with the setup like we have on it. You still got to watch it a little bit because your propane tanks are back there, but but you can turn pretty sharp with it. You lose a lot of that when you go to a fifth wheel. You got to be a little more careful of kind of how you're watching what you're doing. So you also got to really.
The fifth wheel models have typically more space and they're bigger, more storage, things along those lines.
Yeah.
As opposed to just
if we were going to go full time and we were going to go up, or we were really going to go on long trips, we may have to go in and look and find some different option. And she said the truck we chose could be converted to fifth wheel, though, if needed. Yeah,
that's cool.
And we've already got the holes in the place to mount the fifth wheel in the back of our truck.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get a bed liner in the truck, so it'd be real easy to. All we'd have to do is, pay for the fifth wheel and have it installed on it.
Right.
And and that's one of the other reasons we went ahead and went with the 2500. Thing that sucks about the 2500 is I pay for that, and of course your gas is a little more expensive for the other 3 or 4 months that you're not traveling, that you're working, and
Yeah.
especially in my network engineer and having to go to Denton and Dallas and all these other areas, gas bill is kind of up there a little bit, but
Right. Right. How many miles to a gallon does that get? Even okay, I know it's got to be bad when you're towing, but like if you're
yeah,
just on your regular use, does
no,
it do pretty
I
good?
don't think it's too bad. I mean, it does good. It's just a bigger tank, so it takes a lot to do it, but
You're right.
I really don't even know right offhand how much that thing gets, but yeah, I usually have to fill it up about once a week or
Yeah.
something like that. The difference is Loretta, she'll, like on hers, her hybrid, man, it'll cost like 25-30 bucks to fill up hers. It'll cost $100, fill up mine. So
On those hybrids, you probably forget that you have to put gas in it after a while. You're like, oh, wait, I got to put gas in this thing because doesn't it last a long time?
yeah, like she'll usually go about 500 miles, I think.
Wow, man, that's
Yeah, and she just said she thinks mine gets about 16 miles to the
not too
gallon.
bad for that size of a pickup truck, is it,
No,
Chester?
like I said, it's not too bad just because it's a newer truck. So I mean, it's got pretty good gas mileage on it. But of course, when you pull them, I'm sure most of them are going to drop to about 10 miles in a gallon that you're getting for gas. So it's going to eat up the gas.
Well, one of the things I really love about your channel is that you kind of, and if you guys haven't checked it out, if you're just watching this live stream for the first time, go check out his channel and subscribe, show him some love. The thing about it is, really honestly, is that it's no BS. Jeff is not like some expert RVer that's done this before in the past. He's just acting like he knows what he's doing. If you really want to get a really good, realistic view of what it's like, the problems that you can run into, the good and the bad, his channel is excellent for that.
Yeah.
And plus, if you want to get a really good pair of sneakers, though I haven't.
Yeah, sneakers. Yeah, and I do share a lot of stuff, good and bad. I have customer review thing in there where there's a lot of bad decisions we made, but I also share the good ones like that RFID pocket wallet, the tennis shoes, and
$20 a month to travel in a Prius. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's true.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, so that Prius is great, especially if you are being on a trip where the RV is not involved. You're going to see family and driving a long trip. It
really helps a lot.
If you got someplace to stay, it's a lot cheaper taking that route. If you're going to be going somewhere that you may need the home on wheels with you, then the truck and RV definitely works out a lot better.
You just said it right there. That's the thing I would really like about it is you're taking the home on wheels. Like if you travel the traditional way, like say I get on my motorcycle, say I want to head out to the West Coast, I'm going to have to, unless I'm camping off the bike, which I probably wouldn't do, to be honest with you, I'm going to be staying in hotels. Now, like you with the plan that you can get on for RVing, there are certain hotels that if you're a long distance motorcycle, you can join clubs where you get discounts, so to speak. But man, you'd be spending so much money plus, and then now you're not spending a whole lot of money in gas on a motorcycle, but you are spending it food, lodging, and you got to deal more with the weather and stuff like that. But just alone, the cost of travel, just like you said earlier, for hotel rooms and stuff like that's ridiculous. I mean, you got to plan. I don't know. I don't even know, but I don't think most. Do you know, Chester? I don't think most hotels actually you can find a place for $60 a night anymore. You might be able to, but I kind of doubt it. I think you're looking at 80 to 100 a night just for one night.
Yeah, and that's
and
at
then
some of your cheaper places. Like last couple of times we went, we weren't even lucky enough to get that. I think we were spending like $150, and that they weren't even the best hotels. You know, they were
right.
just it's getting outrageous.
And plus, you don't
Yeah,
know what sheets you're sleeping in, and yeah. I mean, at least with the RV, you got something familiar. You can cook your own food. You can do all that sort of thing, and it will save you, I think, in the long run. So
yeah,
I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Do you, Jester? This is my dog, Jester, by the way.
yeah.
He had to be
Hi,
on.
Jester.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think he can hear you. I'd have to put the headphones on.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hi, Jester.
There we go.
Oh, who's
You
that?
heard?
That's a weirdo.
Oh, what was that? Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah,
So,
that's
so
cool,
we're
man.
gonna be doing these more often and everything else.
All right, get down,
So
baby.
we will be talking about a bunch of different topics, and everything's on the table. So anyway, just wanted to do this one so we could kind of introduce ourselves to you, and get everybody to know what's going on. Now that I think this one's worked out pretty good once we got all the bugs ironed out of it, huh?
Yeah, I like this service. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
bad at all. It's that's why I said, because we, for you, those of you that don't want to struggle through the other
The
live
other
stream,
ones.
we were trying to hook it up through OBS and all this stuff, and finally I just said, you know what, let's go back to this StreamYard and give it another shot and see. The only reason that we didn't do this a lot earlier is because I couldn't get my stupid microphone to work, but apparently we've solved that issue. So
Yeah. So I got
I,
everything working. So now that we have this one, we'll be able to kind of do more of these and put stuff out there and get these going on kind of a regular basis, and talking about
yeah.
all kinds of stuff, man.
So
We may dive into
what topics would you like to talk about? Let's give them a little preview as to what they might hear, or what's even better, if you watch this live stream, feel free to leave a comment on it. Jeff, you're going to leave it up right on your channel for a while.
Oh yeah.
Leave a
Yeah.
comment and let us know what you're interested in and what we could talk about. But Jeff, what would you like to discuss on here?
I don't know, just anything. We got I did have one email where, somebody was asking, we're both Christian, we've given our life to Jesus Christ, and we definitely I had one person that had sent an email that had asked, I'd shared my faith with him, and he said, well, God's so good, why God's people are always struggling, and evil people are rich, and I have my own opinion. I know there's things in the Bible that, hey, it's going to rain on the just, the unjust, and I'm not about, if God calls me to share my faith with somebody, I'm going to share my faith with them. I'm not a big salesman of the faith. I'm not going to try to sell it on them. I'm not going to try to do that. That's God's job. That's between their heart and God. I feel that, that it's really about a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's not about what church you go to. It's not about being Baptist. It's not about being Methodist. It's not about, I think all of them are a little wacky sometimes and still good, but it's about that, and, hanging out with other body believers and not really judging people. People are at the place that they're at. If God calls me to share my faith, I'm going to share it. If they tell me to piss off, I'm going to piss off. You know, if God speaks to their heart, God speaks to their heart. That's his job. That's not my job. That's a freeing thing about Christianity. It ain't my job to save somebody. They
Yeah.
can choose what they want to choose, but I will tell them about the light I found through Jesus.
I tend to watch a lot of conspiracy stuff on YouTube and everything. And I was watching Sean Ryan show or something like that. It's a really good podcast he has. And they were talking about groups of people, like everything that's going on in the world right now. You got what's going on with Israel. You have what's going on with Ukraine, if you can say that on YouTube without getting in trouble. Everything from AI to all this stuff that seems like, people are like, oh, freaking out, like the world is ending. And I don't know if it was Sean Ryan or his guest said, you know, the only people that are really not surprised by any of this are the Christians. Because
Right.
they kind of know what's coming down the pike anyway. And you know,
Right.
you could go to a Christian and say, you know, what about this? What about Putin and nukes? What about Biden and Trump and all this stuff going on and everything like that? And Christians are just going to go, it's a, you know, it's just a Tuesday.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, it says the Bible foretells of it, and that the wars aren't going to stop. They're going to be doing it until the final days. Nobody
Right.
knows the time he's coming, regardless of whatever psycho prophecy freaking people are out there. You know, it's going to happen when it's going to happen. You know, are we at a time in life when everything's been fulfilled? I mean, you look in the book, all the prophecies and all the things have been fulfilled where he could come today,
Right.
tomorrow, you know, and you know, we've got all those. This guy asked me about the struggle and why they struggle, and I did put together kind of a Bible study topic, and it's not a Bible thumping one, but it's just some things that God's word has to say about it. And maybe on one of these videos we'll go into a little bit about that. But you know, even though I go over these, it's just, you know, God also says in the Bible, hey, there's going to be good times that hit the good, the evil. There's going to be bad times that hit the good and the evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be rain, but you know, there's also a certain joy and a certain amount of God's protection that comes under when you fall in authority, you know, and
Sure.
and under the authority that He has on there. It doesn't mean you're not going to have that. It doesn't mean you're not going to die. Shit, an Emperor Nero back then, you know, how many, you know, how many Christians did he put up on a, you know, run skewers through them and put them up to light up and catch them on fire, cover them in tar and pitch. And,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't mean that your life is going to be full of rosy colored glasses and everything. But I do have some things on the topic. There are some pretty specific things that maybe on one of these I'll go over. And
Okay.
you know, that's kind of where you're good. I know I have a lot of my you know, most of my background is more from just walking with Jesus as it is with you, but he also has a lot more of his studies. My college studies are a lot more in network engineering, cybersecurity, things like that, and a lot of just kind of personal Bible reading. A lot of Tim's, I know, has been more background in psychology and different things through Christian studies, to where he's had a lot more theological studies involved with his. So, you know, we'll have him here if I start going off the deep end when I'm
Well,
going through this.
and I think, like you said, without getting too preachy, there's a lot of people out there that are really concerned with the state of affairs, what's going on in the world and stuff like that. And I think a lot of just talking about stuff like that can kind of help people's minds at ease a little bit, and know that there's something a little bit bigger out there than just us worrying about it. You know, it's in our faith and those that are Christian, we know that we don't really make any decisions on it. We're just kind of along for the ride. And but there is a lot of comfort in that as well too. And I think if we discuss that, it might help some folks that, like the gentleman said, that why is everything this way? You know, why are those people persecuted? And why is there hate and suffering and things like that? A lot of those topics. He's not alone in asking those questions, but I think that there's some good answers that we could address, or help with. So yeah.
Right.
What was that? You just put something up there. You did a
And then
banner.
sorry guys, we're playing as much as we're talking seriously.
That's so cool.
Isn't that neat? Yeah. So if you click that banner thing, you can type whatever you want to around. Let's say you have your topics changing and you want something to go. If you go on that banner thing,
I can't
you
do
can
it.
go. I think you can. I think you can go on yours over to the far right side. See where it says comment, brand, banners, private chat.
I see private chat, comment. That's it. Probably because you invited me into the stream. I don't know. I'm kind of scared to screw with anything because it's working good right now.
Yeah, on the next one we go to, I'll look at that. I thought there was a section where we could have them, where either one of us could do everything on it, but I'll pay a little more attention when I'm. Let me see what the settings.
We're just lucky we got this far.
Yeah, we're just happy that it's working. Guests can stream at their destination. Guess it. Best way to manage. Nah, I'll look around on it a little bit and see if there's also something. Keep in mind, neither one of us. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not. So I'm not monetized. So I try to get by as cheap as possible on these.
Yeah.
And this is definitely the free version, and there's a couple of more options that. If you want to pay them $4, $8, $9 a week, you can do it. But I thought, ooh, man. Yeah. So anyway, you may not see that for a while.
Yeah. If we ever end up getting monetized, we might actually get a little more professional. You never know.
Yeah. If we get more viewers and get monetized or something else, then, we'll kick in for some of that other stuff on there. But
I know on my channel where I'm monetized, like I just bought a pair of riding jeans. So now as I joke around on my motorcycle channel, the circle is complete. I am completely armored up, but the money I used was for monetization. So it's always a good idea, in my opinion anyway, to take any money that you may get from monetization, put it back in the channel to make it better for the audience and the viewers.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, if we ever start hitting that point, we'll definitely, kind of amp up how some of this stuff is done on it. Like I said, right now we're just starting out and getting it, and we're just lucky to have gotten this far. We broke this earlier. We broke OBS earlier.
I know, and that's sad too, because OBS seems so cool. But when I looked at all that, I was like, oh my. I mean, and Jeff works in IT. He's an IT professional, for heaven's sakes. And he was like, and I was like, let's just go back to the real simple.
Yeah. And that's a good thing about this one, is it's definitely simple. So
yeah, it is. So if you're ever thinking about doing something like this, man, check out. And again, not sponsored. What's it called? StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Pretty easy. It's not hard at all.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go back and look at the video later to see what it actually looks like as far as like professional quality or whatever, but not bad for a first run, I don't think.
Yeah.
And when we do these again, it'll definitely be a lot more structured. I definitely wanted to get into Jeff's channel more because of the fact that I think that a lot of people don't really understand why somebody would spend that kind of money to live an RV lifestyle. But there's, as you've seen from the discussion, I think there's a lot of pluses to it. And, it may not be for everybody, but for those that may be considering it, two things. Number one, I don't think you have to break the bank to get into RVing. I really don't. And number two, I think that, if you want to know how to actually get it done, there's no real professional way of doing it. You just got to get out there and do it and experience it. And I think Jeff and Loretta would both say that it's worth it and it's a lot of fun. I'm sure you guys have a blast. I'm sure that time that you're out there when you're RVing goes by like that.
Oh, definitely.
So it's very cool.
You guys can see the different names down there. This one's the Miller Time Journey, and that's his down there too.
Yeah. My email is if you want to send an email, any comments or anything like that, it's not timmy66@gmail.com. Real easy to send me a comment that way as well. I always try to look at that, and it's a dedicated email, so I do have something set up for that.
Yeah.
Cool.
You can tell I really like that banner.
I know you're watching it just like this.
Yeah,
Here
banner
come,
thing's kind of
wait,
cool, but
here
yeah.
it comes again.
So yeah,
That's
you guys leave comments, anything down there. If there's any particular topics you guys want to address or anything, then we'll talk about them.
Yeah, definitely. Anything, I don't think we'll shy away from much. Anything political, anything has to do with religion, anything, any conspiracy. I'm really into the conspiracy stuff. If that
Yeah,
interests anybody, and anything at all. So
yeah, yeah. You'll hear it all.
yeah,
All
whether
right,
you want
guys.
to or not.
Well, I guess that probably is pretty good for today, huh?
Yeah, it's an hour 15 minutes into this stream, so we can yak. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I guess we will I don't see
Wrap this
any.
one up.
Yeah, we will wrap this one up and the next one, like I said today, we were playing around with it. We'll try to have this one scheduled out where we can, do a couple of videos letting our users know what we're doing on it. And I'll play around with it too and see if how we can get it where it posts at both of them. Or can you download videos from my site onto yours to put it on your channel or
I
not?
think honestly, you'd have to actually share the video with me, and then I would have to post it on my channel. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, I know you can share the video, but I don't think. I
Can
don't
you
know.
share it by email?
It'd be a big file.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll look into that and see how we can do it. That's my one thing I'd like to have is when we're doing them, since both channels does it, that it hits down to both channels. But I'll kind of look a little more into that.
And we may have, and we talked a little bit about this, and we may end up just starting a separate channel if this thing takes off and you guys want to see more. Just let us know. To the
Yeah.
point where we still would have our respective channels, but we could always do something like this as well. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So cool.
Cool. All right, guys.
All right.
Well, until next time.
Everybody have a nice rest of your weekend. Enjoy the hot weather if you're here in Texas.
Hasta Luigi.
Yeah. All
Is
right.
that
Well, hasta Luigi.
well, I don't know. It's some word kind of like hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. All right,
All
man.
right. All right. You guys take it easy.
All right. We'll see you
All
later.
right. All right. Bye.